So in a previous video I showed you the intervals using C as our bass note. So we did C to D flat, C to D, C to E flat, C to E, C to F, all the way up to the octave. And I didn't talk about what happens if we invert those intervals, and it's actually very interesting. Let's take the first interval I showed you in that previous video, which is this strange sounding minor second. This one here, C to D flat. Now if I invert that, so if I bring the C from here up to here, okay, I've inverted that interval, and you can see obviously the two notes are miles apart now, and what we actually have is a major seventh interval from this D flat to this C. If I was in the key of D flat major, the C would be the major seventh note, semitone down from this D flat. It still doesn't sound very nice, does it? And please notice that minor second and major seventh, 2 and 7 make 9. Okay, bear that in mind. Let's look at the next interval we did, which was this one, which was the major second, C to D. Going to do the same. Take the C from underneath, put it on top. Okay, and this becomes a minor seventh. If I was in the key of D, C would be the minor seventh note. And notice again, second and seventh, 2 and 7 makes 9. Let's go to the third one here. So we've got the minor third, C to E flat. Let's bring the C on top. Okay, now please notice this is a minor third. This is going to be a major sixth. Third, sixth, 3 and 6 makes 9, always makes 9. And notice that minor becomes major, and major becomes minor, and minor becomes major. You see? So if the interval is minor and you invert it, it becomes major. If it's major, it becomes minor. And the two numbers always add up to 9. And you might say, well, why is that? Right, look at that minor second interval, C to D flat, this one here. Okay, 1, 2. Now look at the major seventh interval, D flat up to C. So you've got D flat up to C, and that is 7 items. Okay, and 2 items here in this minor second. And notice the D flat is in this interval and in this one. So you count the D flat twice, and that's why it adds up to 9 and not to 8 as you would assume. Here's another one, perfect fourth, C, D, E, F, and the perfect fifth, F, G, A, B, C. You've got 4 here, 5 here, it makes 9, and the F is in both intervals. So the F is counted twice, 4 and 5 make 9. Let's look at our next interval, C to E. Major third, put the C on top, and it becomes a minor sixth. So there to there is a major third, C to E. E to C is a minor sixth. Major becomes minor, and if this is 3, so this is a third, this must be a sixth because it must add up to 9. So major third becomes minor sixth. Now we said that minors become majors and majors become minors, but perfects stay perfect. So perfect fourth, C to F, becomes perfect fifth, F to C. Fourth, fifth, 4, 5 makes 9. So perfect fourth, C to F, becomes perfect fifth, F to C. So minors become majors, majors become minors, perfects stay perfect. What happens to augmented? Augmented becomes diminished, and diminished becomes augmented. So here's our augmented fourth, C to F sharp. So if I put the C on top, it becomes a diminished fifth, F sharp to C. So C to F sharp, augmented fourth, F sharp to C, diminished fifth. Augmented becomes diminished. C to G flat, essentially the same as the previous interval, but it's a fifth because we're saying it's G flat. So this is a diminished fifth, and when we invert it, it becomes an augmented fourth, G flat up to C. And you might say, well, what is the point of all this? Well, let's say you had this interval, the G flat up to C. You haven't got a clue what that interval is because you don't know G flat, don't know the scale of G flat. If you invert the interval, if you put the C underneath, you know that C up to G flat is a diminished fifth, and you know if you invert that it becomes an augmented fourth. So you can say with certainty that G flat to C, that interval, is an augmented fourth. Right, next interval is the perfect fifth. C to G, invert it, becomes a perfect fourth. Fifth becomes fourth. Fourth becomes fifth. This is the perfect fifth. C to G becomes the perfect fourth. G to C. So C to G sharp, augmented fifth. G sharp to C is a diminished fourth. Let's do C to A flat, which is a minor sixth. Invert it, becomes a major third. 6 plus 3 adds up to 9. A minor interval becomes a major interval when you invert it. So major sixth, C up to A, invert it, becomes a minor third. So C to A, major sixth, becomes A to C, minor third. Last two now. C to B flat, which is a minor seventh. Invert it, put the C on top, becomes a major second. Minor seventh becomes major second when you invert it or turn it around. 2 plus 7 equals 9. And major seventh, C to B, put the C on top. Horrible noise because it's a minor second, next door neighbours if you like, semitone apart. Major seventh becomes minor second. 7 plus 2 equals 9. And obviously the octave, okay, I mean you can't really invert it because it's the same note. So basically that is inverted intervals when you turn the two notes around, put one on top of the other, change places. So if the interval is really close, like the minor second, C to D flat, it becomes as far apart as it possibly can when you invert it and we take it up to the major seventh. Still doesn't sound very nice, does it? So hopefully you found that interesting, and that's all about inverted intervals. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and you'll see me in my next tutorial.